You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
You're listening to the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs Edition, your source for all news, reactions, analysis, and objective discussions regarding the NHL's Toronto Maple Leafs from right here in the Niagara region. Here's your host, Kyle Kit.
What's going on, Leaf fans? And welcome back to the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs Edition right here on the Armchair GMs Sports Network, your source for all North American sports coverage by sports fans, for sports fans, delivers you right here in the beautiful Niagara region. You can follow the network on all social media platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram by searching up the Armchair GMs Sports Network. The network is available to listen to on all audio platforms such as Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Deezer, wherever you are getting your podcast, basically. You can find the Armchair GM Sports Network, and you can find this podcast, Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs Edition. Just search up the Armchair GMs Sports Network. You'll find all our great podcasts we have to offer. You can check out the website, too, armchairgmsports.com, for all things regarding our network, which include articles, podcasts, episodes, sponsors, and information on our contributors. As well, you can follow the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs Edition on Twitter at Armchair GM Leafs. You can also follow myself at JustKyle51. And yes, you heard that right. I'm your host, as always, of this Leafs podcast on the Armchair GM Sports Network. My name is Kyle. Again, always searching for that new co-host. So if you live in Niagara region, you've always had that love or that passion maybe for podcasting, you want to join a Leafs podcast, hit me up. Go up to armchairgmsports.com and contact us that way. God, words. Can't even use words today. So contact us on our website through the contact page.
That was easy.
There we go. Got that out. But we're here, guys, to talk some more Leafs. Got some stuff to talk about today since the last episode. Got some stuff on Joe Thornton, some Marlies signings, Aaron Dell, stuff with Jeremy Bracco leaving the team. I'll give you guys my thoughts on that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about like NHL in general, but it has to do with the Leafs in a way. So that's the possibility of an all-Canadians division. Yeah, that's being talked right now about keeping all the Canadian teams in Canada, all obviously due to what's going on in the world with COVID, and the Canadian government might not be letting the NHL teams, the American teams coming in and Canadian teams leaving and vice versa and all that jazz. So there actually might be a possible talk about a all-Canadian division. And we'll end off this episode with my new projected lineup for next year with all the signings that have happened. Kyle Dubas came out recently saying that it's pretty much done. This is what the lineup's going to look like going into next year. And I think it looks pretty good. Not going to lie. I'll give you guys my thoughts on the projected lineups. I'll put it up on the screen if you guys are watching YouTube. If you're on the go, you can always come over to YouTube. Just search up the Armchair GM Sports on YouTube and you'll find us. Make sure you're subscribed. Most importantly, you hit the like button. But you can check out, made a graphic for the projected lineup. I'm going to go through the taxi squad and what I've heard about what's going on with that in case there's no AHL season, which it kind of looks like more and more now there's less AHL seasons. Or less of a chance of an AHL season coming out. God, yeah, words aren't coming out with me today. Yeah, that's right. I'd be horrible Wheel of Fortune for this one. But anywho, so because it's going to be somewhat of a short episode, we're going to take actually our first commercial break right now. If I do have time, I might fit the second one in there. But don't go away, guys. We'll be right back here on the Armchair GM Sports Network and right back here on the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs Edition to talk some more Leafs. So stay tuned.
Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano, serving traditional-style Italian pizzas made with the freshest, top-quality ingredients. Loaded subs and their famous chicken wings. Winners of the Reader's Choice Diamond Award, 4 years running from Niagara this week for Best Pizza and Wings in Niagara Falls. Home of the best tray and wing combo in town for the price and quality. Open daily from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., located on the corner of Drummond Road and Dunn Street. Available for call-ahead pickup or delivery at 905-374-4400. Make sure to like them on Facebook and view their website for their menu at carmine'spizzeria.ca. Carmine's Pizzeria Italiano. Way too good. As we all adjust to this new world that we're living in today, masks are now mandatory, and Niagara's own Custom PPE is Canada's leading face mask provider. Visit them online at customppe.ca and choose between several mask options with different colors and sizes. Add your organization, company, or team logo so you make your face masks unique. Available to purchase online 24/7 at customppe.ca and shipped within 1 week. They have the best prices and quickest turnaround in Canada, and no order is too big or too small. Also offering custom floor stickers as well as face and counter shields for your business or workplace. Visit customppe.ca and use the code ARMCHAIR at checkout for 20% off your custom or blank face mask today. Custom PPE, Canada's leading face mask provider. Attention job seekers, if you are currently looking for work in the Niagara region, you owe it to yourself to check out the services provided by the Niagara Employment Help Center, located at 6100 Thoroldstone Road, Niagara Falls, directly across from the Camisos Plaza. Their free services include resume and cover letter writing, community resource and referral information, local labor market information, job search strategies, assistance with clarifying employment training and career goals, employment counseling and job search support, second career information and registration assistance, and all their services are currently provided by appointment only. So give them a call at 905-358-0021 or visit their website at ehc.on.ca, the Niagara Employment Help Center. This Employment Ontario program is funded by the Government of Ontario.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network, the Niagara region's best local source for North American sports podcasting coverage. By sports fans, for sports fans.
All right, Leaf fans, welcome back to the show. Right here in the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs edition. Most importantly, right back here on the Armchair GMs Sports Network. Again, we are your source for North American sports coverage by sports fans for sports fans. Be sure to check out those local sponsors. If you're in the Niagara area, man, got to check out those local sponsors, especially with the Armchair GMs. Tell them we sent you. You might save a little money. Make sure you're following our Facebook page too, our social media pages. We post the promo codes on there for you guys to use. You can save 10, 15, 20. Sometimes, never know what kind of percentage we'll be releasing. So make sure you're following us on those social media platforms. So, most importantly, though, we're going to get to talking some Leafs. And number one is basically the title of this episode. I've titled it Grandpa Grandpa Joe. Okay, I called Curtis McElhaney Grandpa Kurt back in the day. And now we got a new grandpa. It's Grandpa Joe. Signing with the Leafs. Again, there was speculation with him signing with the Buds. There was the news that he signed with HC Davos to go play over there since he hasn't played in something crazy 7 to 9 months. So he kind of needs to get his legs going if he's going to be playing back in the NHL sometime soon. So yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a minute. As the kids say nowadays, it's been a minute since Thornton's played in the NHL. So it's good for him for going over there and getting his feet wet. He's playing some stiff competition over there. I love European hockey. If you guys haven't seen any of it, if you can find yourself a stream of watching KHL action, it's such good hockey. It's so exciting to watch. It's weird that over there it's back to normal, which is okay. I don't know how they're fully back to normal. They've had a lot of COVID cases in their league, but they just keep going. That's the KHL for you. They're a different breed over there. Anywho, so Leafs signed Joe Thornton. Pretty cheap deal. 1 year, $700K. Can't really complain about that. And obviously, us being Leaf fans, you Leaf fans out there, we're going to hear it for this. You're going to hear, Thornton, 41 years old. You guys are going to win the cup, win the parade. I hate those people. Just because we signed Joe Thornton doesn't mean we're winning the state. I don't know where they get. I don't see any Leaf fan literally saying okay, now we're cup contenders because we signed Joe Thornton. No one is saying that. And if they are, yikes! I don't even consider you a Leaf fan. If you went out and tweeted that on Twitter, shame on you. You blew it. Yeah, you done did it. I didn't see anything. So if there is, wow, shocker. Joe Thornton is not here to. He's here to help in a little bit of a way to win us a Stanley Cup, but he's mainly here to be that veteran presence yeah, he's come out and said, like, I plan on winning a Stanley Cup with this team. I mean, Leafs, regardless of what anyone and any non-Leaf fan wants to think, Leafs are always going to are now in that playoff contending team. I know they didn't exactly make the playoffs this year. They got eliminated in the qualifier, but the average, based on the last 5 years, the Leafs are a playoff team. They're not a deep playoff team yet, which that's what they're building towards, but they are a playoff team. So with the additions that they've done so far this offseason, they should be considered now maybe a deep playoff team. I mean, time will tell. We'll see what happens next year when the time comes. But things are looking good. And I really, really loved the Joe Thornton signing. He literally only had it down to 2 teams. Like he was either going to pick San Jose or the Buds. And he ends up picking the Buds, which is shocking. I actually thought he would go and pick San Jose, because I mean he's been there for what, like his entire career. Like the guy is 41 years old. He's basically maybe going into his last year in the NHL. Maybe he has one more year. We'll see what he can squeeze out and how he feels next year. But like I think he probably would have stayed in San Jose. The guy like built his entire career there. Like he's been there forever. Like I saw footage of like when they first traded for him, that San Jose jersey. They haven't worn that in so long. See, I can't remember the exact date he signed in San Jose, but it was a long time ago. I'm gonna say like early 2000s. Like that was probably when he signed with San Jose. And look, we're in 2020. He's leaving San Jose. He's built a life over there. Like not even just for himself, his family, and just I'm sure the city of San Jose has fallen in love with him. Now he's going. I mean, it's happened a lot. Especially with this offseason, he's going back home. Like, now look at all these players that are coming back home. Like, Tavares has come back home. Joe Thornton, Wayne Simmons. For some reason, I can't think of any more off the top of my head. But a lot of the, Ontario, Toronto area kids are eventually going to come back to wanting to play for the Leafs, regardless of what anyone wants to say or object to that. So, I mean, it was his choice. He thinks that, the Leafs are in a win now and had a potential cup contending team, which compared to San Jose, they are. Not trying to say like San Jose is horrible, but they just came off the last few years. They just came off horrible seasons, and they're kind of on the track of a rebuild pretty soon. So he kind of has to look at it like, if I stayed in San Jose this year, I'm not going to win a cup. They're not going to be a cup contending team. I could go sign with my hometown team, who are hungry. They're fired up now with all these signings. They're ready to contend and try to go deeper into the playoffs. Can't really blame them for choosing the Leafs. So I know Brandon, who is host of the Sabres podcast and co-owner with me the network here. I know he's a second team's a San Jose fan, and he was mad. He was pissed. He put out the post that he's selling all his Joe Thornton stuff. I mean, I hope, I know he knows deep down, Brandon. I know if you're watching, I know you know deep down that you agree with this move in a way. Like you can't blame him for choosing the Leafs. So, yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it's veteran presence. It's the veteran leadership you need on this team. Their top 6 is heavy young. Even top 9 are heavy young. You need guys like this that are going to come in and be the voice and be the veterans in the room. Even though I think the team does still belong to guys like Matthews and Marner, it's still their team, but it's good to have veteran leadership and presence there to help these kids grow, and I think it's going to help them tremendously. So now your bottom 6 is veteran heavy and guys that have been around the block and back. So I was happy with this signing. You know what? If Joe Thornton can go out there, be a 4th line centerman or be a 3rd line centerman and produce, can't complain, especially for $700,000 league min. We're getting Joe Thornton. So again, I don't know how people can even complain. Even if Leaf fans are complaining about this, I don't know how you can complain. I did see Leaf fans go and complain about we could have used that money on another younger, like, skilled person for the bottom 6. I'm like, yeah, but then if he ends up being good, like, we're going to run into that problem, like, oh, maybe this guy should be in our top 6, but then you don't want to take anyone out of the top 6 currently, because our top 6, I think, is solidified. Maybe one spot right now is interchangeable, but besides that, it's solidified. We don't need anybody else. And they're young, and they're going to be here for a long time, so we don't need any of these younger guys to come in and fill those spots. I think you need veteran guys, because I think that's one of the things the Leafs have been lacking, is veteran leadership and, big, heavy hitter guys who they went out and got. So, yeah, I was very happy with that signing of Joe Thornton. Again, very, very happy. And I'll show you guys where my projected lineup where I have him slotted in later with the end of the show here. Other than that, some other signings. Okay, so I want to talk about the one I love and the one that's hilarious with these two Marlies signings that happened. So one is the awesome one. So Rich Clune is re-signed back with the Marlies. And if you're a Leaf fan, you know what he's all about. He's basically the Marlies. He's the Marlies. He should be. I don't know if he's captain yet, but he should be the Marlies captain forever. This guy is the heart and soul of the Toronto Marlies for like the last I don't know how long he's been here, 5, 8 years, whatever it's been when he's been with the Leafs. He's been rocking it in the Marlies. He's been the veteran leader down there. What I compare him to is if any of you guys seen the Don Cherry movie, I think it was The Wrath of Grapes or the Don Cherry story, the first one, which I forget. Keep Your Head Up, Kid. That's it. God, my memory. Anyways, when Don's back in the AHL and it's like later in his career and he's teaching the rookies what to do, like telling them put some extra padding in your shin pad and stuff like that. That's how I picture Rich Clune. Rich Clune is the guy that's down there with the Marlies to teach the kids about playing in the NHL and to compete at an NHL level and to be that veteran presence, the guy that's going to protect the kids in the AHL as well. So I really love the re-signing of Rich Clune. Obviously, there's that that footage of him at the Marlies Stanley Cup parade party and what he said, which was fantastic. I'm not going to repeat exactly verbatim what he said here, or else YouTube's going to nick us for that. But if you guys haven't seen it, go to YouTube, search up Rich Clune Stanley Cup parade, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So yeah, I really loved that Marlies signing. The second one was okay, this is hilarious. So if you guys remember, I'm pretty sure it was this past season when the Leafs faced Ottawa. Matthews was jawing at this one guy, Scott Sabourin, and there's that famous GIF and clip of him they're jawing at each other, and Matthews just kind of looking over his shoulder, looking at his name, and saying "Who are you, man? What's your last name? Who are you?" So that was funny, and now it's sort of come full circle. So he signed an AHL Marlies contract. So I can't tell if he's actually legit on the team or not because he's not showing up on Cat Friendly. I don't know if Cat Friendly has the AHL contract separate or I tried scrolling down and I couldn't find it. But anyway, Scott Sabourin signs a Marlies deal, and that's hilarious. So basically, Matthews and him, I wonder if they're ever going to come face to face with each other. What if they bring in Sabourin for practice? Can they please do a comedy skit for us and do that on the practice rink? Matthews looking over his practice Leaf jersey. Can they please recreate that? I'd be all for it. If they recreate that, I'd be fired up. I'd be so fired up. I'd be going nuts. Anyways, so I thought that was pretty funny. Another signing, not Marley signing, but actual team signing. But it's going to be interesting to see where he plays. Unless the Leafs have a plan with that. I'm not sure why it's always good to have goalie depth. And what I'm talking about is Aaron Dell. So Aaron Dell, if you guys remember, he was Martin Jones's backup for the last couple of years. Leafs signed him to a 1-year, $800,000 contract. So, we already have two goalies. We have Anderson and Jack Campbell. Signing Aaron Dell is, I guess, smart in the case of if one of those guys goes down, you got Aaron Dell that you can bring up and you can rock a Campbell-Dell duo or an Anderson-Dell duo. The other thing is we have to look at is this is probably in preparation of a potential trade of Frederik Andersen this year. We know Freddie Anderson is going to his last year of his deal. Dubas has said recently that, he plans, the plan is to have the Anderson in the net and Campbell as the backup. But if something comes along halfway through the season and quarter way through the season and they have a good deal in place to trade Frederik Andersen because they can't afford to re-sign him, if they can't I know that's going to be the first thing. The first thing they're going to do is talk with him, Anderson and his agent, on a contract extension that could be team friendly. If they can't, they have to explore options on trading him. And I think that's probably one of the other reasons why they signed Aaron Dell. And I'm okay with that as well. So it's going to suck, though, if the Marlies are in the AHL are not happening. Because then Aaron Dell's basically just he's going to be obviously a taxi squad guy, but he's going to be just he's going to be getting his playing time in practice. Because if Campbell or Anderson don't get hurt, he's not playing at all. They're not going to be scratching Campbell one night, just to throw Dell in there. I mean, I hope not, and I would think not, but if they do, I mean, we're in different times now, so I wouldn't be shocked if it does happen, but I'm guessing it won't, especially because they're paying Campbell a lot more. It's like 1.2 or 1.5 a year for the next 2 years, so we'll see what happens with that. But, I was fine with the signing of Dell. So, Aaron Dell-licious, Dell Pickles. This guy's got a bunch of nicknames. We got a lot of players on this team that have, like, sick nicknames, by the way. Like, they're hilarious. And I'm all for, like, you got, like, Jack Campbell could be called Soup, but Soup is linked to Mikheyev. We did have Janssen, but he was Mango. I guess, that's gone now, but I guess now we got Delicious. You could probably think of a bunch of other nicknames for a lot of other players in their team, like Will Knight, a scoring guy, and stuff like that. I don't know. But, yeah, again, closing remarks with that. Fine. I'm great. I'm happy with the signing with Aaron Dell, and we'll see what happens with the goalie situation this year. It's going to be something to keep a big eye on for this coming season. So I think we're going to take our last commercial break before we get into the last part of the show here. We're going to talk about the Canes scooping up Jeremy Bracco, potential of all-Canadian team division, and again, my projected lineups for the Leafs coming this season. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back here on the Niagara Hockey Lowdown and right back here on the Armchair GMs Sports Network.
J&L Flooring is a Niagara-based specialty flooring and design company. They take great pride in providing elite customer service and support. They are a specialty flooring and decor boutique shop with a beautiful showroom, great pricing, and a wide variety and truly unique selection of products. All their products are environmentally friendly and responsibly produced, so you can feel great about your flooring choices. Their goal as a local business is to build authentic relationships based on honesty and integrity that they foster with respect and authenticity. Offering a unique and wide range of quality products presented by a knowledgeable and patient team, they connect with their customers to simplify the process to make their life easier and to make their homes beautiful. Visit them at 4424 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls, or find out more at jnlflooring.com. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. through 5 p.m., and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. 905-358-3299 J&L Flooring. The Spicy Olive Bar and Grill is located on the top of Clifton Hill and just a 5-minute walk from the majestic Niagara Falls. It is conveniently nestled in the heart of the tourist district. A family-owned and operated business, the Spicy Olive opened its doors in May of 2003 and has since been established as an authentic and unique Italian restaurant and bar. Its rustic ambiance and time-worn finishing provide a warm and inviting dining experience. Offering an array of delicious dishes, they specialize in authentic Italian cuisine, homemade sauces, fresh ingredients, and consistently providing a strong foundation on which they build their menu. As night falls, the Spicy Olive shifts to a lively lounge where drinks and live music come together to make a perfect evening. For more than 15 years, they have provided not only for their dedicated locals, but their customers from all over the world with authentic Italian food and great live entertainment. Open daily 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. for dinner and till 2 a.m. for drinks. Check out their new menu and book reservations on their website at Spicy Olive Bar and Grill, it's with an E at the end, .com, or call 905-371-2323 for reservations as well. The Spicy Olive Bar and Grill.
You're listening to the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs Edition, your source for all news, reactions, analysis, and objective discussions regarding the NHL's Toronto Maple Leafs from right here in the Niagara region. Here's your host, Kyle Kitt.
All right, Leaf fans, welcome back to the show. Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs Edition, and right back here on the Armchair GMs Sports Network. Here to finish off the show, talk some more buds here, and then, again, I'm excited to get this projected lineup out. I really want to know what you guys think of the projected lineup, so if you guys like it, leave the comments down below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on the go, hit me back up on Twitter at JustKyle51, or you can go on Facebook if you are more into Facebook, and then comment on the Facebook post for this podcast. Just let me know. Let me know what you guys think of the lineup, because I want to hear your thoughts and maybe what your opinions are on some of the lines. So we'll get into that when we get into that. So regardless of that, let's get into the first thing. So unfortunately, the Leafs did lose I guess not RFA. I think it was a UFA, but we lost a prospect, Jeremy Bracco, to the Carolina Hurricanes. They picked him up, and I think that's a solid pickup for the Hurricanes, honestly. Like, Jeremy Bracco has the potential to be a very, very good, solid like winger in your top 9, even potentially top 6. So they are able to sign him. We drafted him back in 2015. I believe that was the Marner draft, if I'm not mistaken, or it was the Nylander draft. It was one or the other. But we took him in the 2015 draft, and you know what? Like, he had the potential to crack our lineup, but since then, like, we added so many pieces to our top 6. The guy would just get lost in the shuffle. So you know what? He wasn't a priority re-signing this year. I'd like to have maybe got him back for 1 year and maybe be a trade piece. Maybe you can get some assets for him, because I think he does have the potential to be something good in someone's top 9 or even top 6. He's had a decent AHL career, so I think the potential is there with Jeremy Bracco. So massive signing by the Hurricanes, so that's really good for them. I'm sure if he does do well for them, you know, they'll love that signing. So if you're a Hurricanes fan, you should be very excited for a guy like Jeremy Bracco. So yeah, it is what it is. That's just life in the NHL, folks. Sometimes it goes your way. Sometimes stuff like this happens. And speaking of the NHL, come on, Kyle, get it together here. There's been talk of a potential division alignment for this coming season, obviously due to what's going on in the world, and I'm for it. And that is the division alignment of an all-Canadian division. So a 7-team division with all the Canadian teams, obviously due to what the Canadian government, if they're ever going to allow the NHL to travel. If not, obviously the Canadian team's got to stay here, but I'm all for an all-Canadian division. It'd be very, very interesting. Because right now, the tentative date right now is January 1st for the NHL, but, you know, things could change depending on what's going on in the world as well. If they have to move it, they'll have to move it. Maybe they have to shorten the season to like 60 or 50 games. And even then, if it's like 60 or 50 games or even 82 games, I mean, 82 is going to be a lot. I hope it's like 60 or 70, or even a high 50 I can take. But an all-Canadian division will be interesting, and I'm all for it. That'd be awesome. You have obviously like Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, and Winnipeg, and then you have Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal, which Winnipeg, it kind of sucks for them because they're kind of like smack dab in the middle almost with travel. So it's going to be interesting for them with traveling, especially when we get into like the winter months. But I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Maybe they keep, you know, the West teams battle out for 2 weeks and then they travel to the east side of Canada, you know, vice versa, or maybe 1 week you battle within the divisions, and then the next week you decide, is the West going to the East or the East going to the West, which is, you know, I kind of like that going on as well. So they have cool ideas with that. I hope we actually get that, you know what I mean? Like, I know you probably want things to go back to normal, obviously, with what's going on, and you want to see like a normal season. But if they have to, I would not be opposed to a all-Canadian team division. That would be sweet. You just imagine, like, we're going to play these teams a lot, even if it's like 50 or 60 games. So we're going to be playing Montreal and Ottawa, like, I don't even know what the math is here, like at least 15 times maybe, or 15 to 20 times. I think it's less than that, but you're playing them more than, 4 times a year. So it's good. I love that. The rivalries there, you're going to create new rivalries from playing the same teams every other week, something like that. I like this. I really hope they do an all-Canadian division. That would be sweet for 1 year. I would be all for it. And then obviously, I don't know how the playoffs would work and how you'd line that up. I don't know if it would be you split everyone back into their regular divisions and then you go by what their points and regular season stuff is. It's interesting to talk about. So if that does come to fruition, I'd love that. I'd be all for a all-Canadian team. All-Canadian division. Oh, God. All-Canadian team division. There you go.
That was easy.
Anyways. So, yeah. You guys let me know what you guys think about that. That's one thing that I'm hearing. Okay. So, anyways. Last but not least. Okay. First, before we get into the projected lineups, I do have a couple of things here I want to get through. So, a couple of tweets I want to bring up here that I really liked. And I'm giving them shout-outs here on the show. We'll go through the first tweet here. One is by a guy named Dylan Morrow. If you're a Leafs fan, you have Twitter. You're probably following him or you've seen a lot of his tweets. I liked this tweet by him, so shout-outs to you, Dylan. He puts, just imagine with me for a minute. The veteran presence now on this Leafs team. Tavares, Spezza, Simmons, Thornton, and Muzzin. That's the kind of group I want my younger players modeling their work ethic after. Fabulous job. Exactly, Dylan. I couldn't have said that better myself. Like, you have 4 really strong top veteran presence on your team in Tavares, Spezza, Thornton, and Simmons. Guys that have been in this league for a while and know how to win and know how to get it done and can help the kids on this team. I love this tweet by Dylan. It is a very awesome take. So to Dylan, thank you for that. And I'm featuring it on the show because I really liked it. So shout out to you, Dylan, with that. And again, what he said, guys, is 100% true. The other tweet, okay, if you're a Leafs fan and you're on Twitter and you're not following this Twitter account, I don't know what you're doing with your life, because his tweets are fantastic and they're hilarious and give me a laugh every single time I read them. And that is the Oak Leafs. He's been mentioned by Brian Burke on TB2s. This guy is well known, or you can look up Active Stick. He's got the Matthews picture with the laser eyes, so if you guys need to search him up, that's that. But he posted this thing up, this stat kind of like graph here, or table, if you will, about the William Nylander criticism. And to those who criticize William Nylander, I don't understand why you're still criticizing the guy and you want to trade this guy because of this stat right here. Why would you want to trade a guy who? So we're looking at the stat table here, 5v5, so right, like, non-power play, non-PK. In the last 82 games, William Nylander has more points than Matthew Barzal, Matthew Tkachuk, Elias Pettersson, Sebastian Aho, Jack Eichel, Patrick Laine, and Miko Leitenin. Yeah, William Nylander has more points than all of them. Maybe not by much, but he's got more points than all of them. And he has more goal. He has the same amount of goals as Sebastian Aho at 21. Then after that, he has more goals than Barzal, Tkachuk, Pettersson, Eichel, Laine, and Rantanen. So you're telling me you want to trade a guy like William Nylander when this guy is beating all of them in those stats and even having less time on ice in some compared to some of those players? And we have him at a 6.9 deal. 6.9 or 6.8, whatever it is, for the next 5 or 4 years. Why would you want to trade him? I literally don't understand the talks of trading a William Nylander. It literally mind boggles me every time I hear these talks. And I know I probably said it on the show that I would be okay with parting ways with Nylander, and I still stay true to that. I would be okay with parting ways with him. But why would you want to part ways with him when he has the stats to back up his 6.8 or 9, whatever it is? But you know what? I'm gonna pull. I keep screwing that up. I'm gonna pull up his contract. I'm on Cat Friendly. Why can't I just look? $6.9 million contract for the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years, and people want to trade this guy. Shame on you if you want to trade this guy. Yeah. I'm giving you the Price is Right horn. That's right. Anyways, I just wanted to go through those 2 tweets first before we get into the projected lineup. So those were great. So shout outs to you too. Anywho's, let's go into the projected lineup. So I'm going to start with the forwards. I'm going to go to the D, the goalie, and then the taxi squad. So if you are listening on the go, make sure you come on over to the YouTube page. Again, hit the like button, subscribe most importantly. But you can check out the graphic I made for these lines if you need a better understanding. If not, and you're good at listening, hey, kudos on you. Good for you. Anywho, all right, so here we go, guys. Going with the first one. Line 1, forward. Line 1, bam. That's right. Zach Hyman, Austin Matthews, and Mitch Marner. Now, a lot of people would change out the Marner for Nylander. I mean, we've seen that line in the past, but just from watching Matthews and Marner work together this past season, I don't want to split those guys up. I really don't want to split those guys up. I think they've gained the chemistry to play together from now on. They're the 2 guys who should be producing the most on your team. They're the 2 guys who are carrying this team and are the voice of this team. This is their team, Matthews and Marner. So they should be up front, line 1, center, and right wing. Then you have, Hyman. I don't have to explain why Zach Hyman's there. He is a guy, the gritty guy, getting into your corners, digging for the puck, getting the puck out of the corners, and feeding Matthews or Marner or helping one of them if they're stuck in the corners. Can't find another better guy than Zach Hyman to do that. And I cannot wait, and I really hope we sign him back, and I'll be very upset, and I'll probably cry if he does leave this team. So yeah, that's my projected line 1 for the Buds next year. Now let's get into, here we go, boys, line number 2. That's right. And this is an interesting one. And you see the left side there. The newest addition. I have Wayne Simmonds slotted in as line number 2 left winger. I think this would be a perfect fit. And you have John Tavares at center and William Nylander at right wing. I should probably finish that. So Simmonds, Tavares, Nylander. I think this is a perfect combination line. And I think it accompanies and it, what's the word I'm looking for? Words today are not my strong suit. It complements, that's it. It complements the first line of having your playmaker center. Nylander can prove that he can be a playmaker, but he can also shoot the puck. When Nylander leans into that shot and he actually shoots, he can be a deadly sniper. So I have him as like a sniper type role. And then you have Simmonds. He's basically your Zach Hyman of the second line. I think that's what's missing from that second line with Tavares and Nylander. And that's what was missing this past season. They tried it with Kapanen in there, saw it as a fast guy, and you know what? To me, it just didn't look right. It didn't feel right, if you know what I mean. I hope Leaf fans are agreeing with me with this one, but I think they need a guy like a Zach Hyman to get in there because basically Tavares was doing the Zach Hyman work of that second line. That's what I noticed the most about him, and I don't think he should be the guy to be doing that. So you put a guy like Wayne Simmonds there to get into those corners, to battle for the puck and get those loose pucks to either Tavares or Nylander, and a guy, obviously, to be on that line to protect anyone that goes after Nylander or Tavares, who is, your captain of this team. And why wouldn't you want to put a Wayne Simmonds on that same line to protect a guy like John Tavares? So I think this is a pretty strong second line. That's what I would do. Again, this is not what they're probably going to do. This is my projected Leafs lineup, so to not to get confused here. So let's move on from this, guys, and here we go. Line number 3. That's right. There it is. And again, another new addition here with Jumbo Joe, Grandpa Joe Thornton at the center slot. And a lot of people were saying that, maybe he'll be the fourth line guy, or probably should be the fourth line guy, and Kerfoot should rock the center. But here's the thing with Kerfoot. So the rest of this third line, I have Mikheyev on the left, Thornton at center, Kerfoot on the right as a winger. Here's the thing with Kerfoot. I didn't like him at center this past year. I didn't think he did a great job at center. I think he's more better as a winger. He played wing when he was in Colorado a lot, and he looked better on the wing in Colorado a lot. So I think if they're going to try to max out the most production out of a Kerfoot, I think you put him on the wing. So I have Thornton at center, Ilya Mikheyev on the left, Kerfoot on the right. I think this line complements each other in a sense. Hopefully Soup is going to be very, very ready to go for next year. I know he missed a lot of time because of that wrist injury, but apparently he's doing a lot better and he's strong, and we re-sign him. So I know they're going to go re-sign him because they're doing that arbitration thing. So I know Mikheyev will be on this team going into next year. So Mikheyev on the left, Thornton in the center, and Alexander Kerfoot on the right. That's what I have as my projected line 3. Let me know what you guys think. I think this is a pretty solid line 3 in my eyes. So last but not least, this one's an interesting one, guys. Line number 4. That's right. Yes, you see that correctly. Jason Spezza at center. Jimmy Vesey on the right. Couldn't get a picture of him in the Leaf jersey because it hasn't been made yet or hasn't been an edit. And then Alexander Barabanov, the guy that everybody forgets on the left side. I don't know how everybody's forgetting this guy. Guys, I don't know how you're forgetting Barabanov. I don't know how he's not in a lot of Malk lineups out there. And that's very surprising that he's not in there. The guy turned down a KHL loan to work on his game in Toronto. He said, no, I don't want to work in KHL. I want to work on my North American game. I want to play the style that Toronto wants to play. I'm going to Toronto to play in Toronto. And he signed with Toronto instead of even going with Arizona, who apparently were offering him a bonus-riddled contract. They were going to offer him the moon to come over to the Arizona Coyotes. He said, no, I want to go to Toronto. Obviously, the Russian influence in Toronto is huge. Clearly, you've seen through drafts and signings. So I think you guys are forgetting that this guy is coming to play and make this team. He's not coming over here to play in the Marlies or to be a taxi squad guy. He is going to be playing on this team, or else he wouldn't have come over here. So I have him slotted into the fourth line. He could move up and down the lineup. Maybe he switches with Mikheyev on line 2. Maybe he finds chemistry with Tavares in line 3 with Thornton and Kerfoot. Maybe he finds chemistry there, or maybe he does go into line number 2 and Simmonds moves down. We don't know. This is how I have it in my eyes. I think Barabanov would work well on the fourth line. Get more accustomed to the North American game in in-game situations, and playing on the fourth line, it eases you into that. So I have him on the left wing. Jason Spezza at center. Obviously, the guy is fired up. Like, he is ready to go for next year, especially with what he said after re-signing with the Leafs. Like, he really wants to win with this team, and he's fired up to get it done. So I have him as line 4 center. And then on the right wing, Jimmy Vesey. I think this guy has the potential to do good. He's shown on the Rangers and Sabres that he can score anywhere from 10 to 20 goals. And in playing on the fourth line, if he can replicate that production, I'd like that. I'm for a Jimmy Vesey playing on the fourth line. So that's how I have my fourth line slotted. I think it's a pretty solid team. So again, I'll recap for you guys the forwards. You got line 1 of Zach Hyman, Matthews, and Marner. Line 2 of Simmons, Tavares, and Nylander. Line 3 of Mikheyev, Thornton, and Kerfoot. And then line 4 of Barabanov, Spezza, and Jimmy Vesey. And then we'll get into the taxi squad later on. So that is my starting lineup, a starting forward lineup. So without further ado, let's get into it, guys. The back end, the defense here in line 1. Line 1D, yes, finally. I'm so pumped for this because I think it's going to work out tremendously, and I hope I'm not wrong with this. I really hope not. But Morgan Rielly and TJ Brodie on line 1. I hope Brodie is the perfect pairing for Morgan Rielly. He's been finding and looking for a guy since, I guess, Ron Hainsey, and even before that he had nobody to play with. And I think these guys are going to complement each other. Just from watching Brodie in his game and watching Morgan Rielly in his game, I think they're going to gel together. They seem like a very perfect fit. And, they could really, I think, do wonders on that top 2 defensive line there. So I have Morgan Rielly slotted in with the newcomer, TJ Brodie, who's going to be here for a while now, guys. I mean, he signed a 5-year contract, so why not try to your hardest to fit him in with Morgan Rielly as that projected line 1 defense. So that's who I have slotted in for line 1. Line number 2. There it is. I have Jake Muzzin on the left side, and the newcomer Miko Leitenin, who, again, a lot of people forget. This guy is currently lighting up the KHL. It has been probably one of their best defensemen over there, and he is looking very good. And I think he's going to translate that to the Leafs. So I have him come again. He's going to come over. He's not coming over to make the taxi squad. I know a lot of mock lineups have him in the last pairing, but I have him slotted in with Jake Muzzin. I think this will be a perfect pairing. With Jake Muzzin and Lenton. I think these guys could definitely complement each other again, and I think it looks good. I mean, I don't know what else to say about this. I'm praying Miko Leitenin translates well over to the North American style of game, so we'll see what happens with that. But I have Jake Muzzin and Miko Leitenin on line 2. And last but not least, the third pairing. That's right. 2 guys that are on the team currently, Justin Hall and Travis Dermott. Again, Travis Dermott, a guy that's currently an RFA. I assume that they're going to be looking at re-signing him very soon. Hopefully, if we trade him, I mean, they have a lot of other guys that could fill that spot. But I have faith that they're going to re-sign him, so I have him slotted in with Justin Hall on that last pairing. I think Justin Hall and Travis Dermott can definitely build the chemistry together and be a very good fit for that third pairing. And again, it's also a third pairing that could be interchangeable. This could be moved around a lot with the taxi squad. And again, we'll get into that when we get there. But I think as a starting lineup, I'd love to have Hall and Dermott together on that third pairing. And as for the goalies, that's right. Frederik Andersen. I know everyone's probably tired of that horn. I'm sorry. Frederik Andersen and Jack Campbell. Soupy, I guess Soupy number 2. But obviously this is going to be the goalies to start this year with Andersen and Jack Campbell. Again, something, like I said earlier, something could happen. There could be a move later on in the season where Andersen moves out and we get a newer goalie, or Campbell maybe has to take reins as a starting goalie. I wouldn't count on that, but this is how I have the projected starting goalie, and it's probably going to come at true fruition as well. I won't play it, though. Last but not least, I'll play a woo. How about that for the taxi squad? Whoa. That's right. So, yeah, the talks right now are if the AHL doesn't come back and there's no AHL for the players to play in, they're going to allow teams to have a 20-man, up to 20-man taxi squad, meaning they can have the team there to practice with the team at facilities. You can interchange people. That's not saying there's going to be 20 people in the press box, but they're going to be able to fit a 20-man taxi squad on the team. But the most important part is it won't count towards the salary cap. So whoever you send to the taxi squad doesn't necessarily count to the salary cap. So hopefully that works out and teams don't really exploit that too much, but I can still see exploitation happening. But as for a taxi squad, I'll go over the forwards first. So my taxi squad forwards are Nick Robertson, Pierre Engvall, Denny Malgin, Travis Boyd, who we totally forgot that we even signed him. He used to play in the Washington Capitals. So I have him slotted in there. Igor Korshkov, Nick Patan, Joey Anderson, who still needs a contract. I believe will probably get it done, like a 1-year quick deal. Adam Brooks and Semyon Durarguchintsev, or SDA, as a lot of people refer to him as for short. So that is your forward taxi squad. Those 9 players, again, Robertson, Engvall, Malgin, Boyd, Korshkov, Patan, Anderson, Brooks, and Durarguchintsev. As for D, obviously number 1 on the taxi squad, Zach Bogosian, newcomer. I mean, you could always, if they don't sign Travis Dermott, I expect probably Bogosian would fill into that spot, and it would be Hall and Bogosian. If not, I'd say Bogosian would be your number 1 taxi squad guy, and maybe the extra defenseman they actually probably carry on the team to switch out. But for the sake of this, number 1, the taxi squad. Number 2, Rasmus Sandin, then Timothy Liljegren, Calle Rosen, who I really hope plays. I really like his game. I'm very, very hopeful for a Calle Rosen. Even Liljegren, too. I hope he finally breaks out of his shell. For a guy who went in his draft year, was projected top 3 at the beginning of the year, fell down to like 17, what was it, for the Leafs, or 20-something for the Leafs, and we took him. I hope he does translate well. I know he changed his game out a lot, so I hope he does make the team at some point, man. I really hope that Timothy Liljegren makes the team. Martin Marincin, yeah, it is what it is. He's there. I don't like him, but he's there. Timu Kivuhalme, who's been having a really good year at the Marlies the last couple of years. David Warsawski, who we got in the trade for Kasperi Kapanen, Matt Hollowell, and Joseph Dusak. So those are your taxi squad guys. Again, if they go with that taxi squad rule, with the 20-man rule. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, finally. God, my voice was running out there. It took longer than I thought it was going to. So anyways, that's going to wrap it up for the show today, guys. I don't got anything else. Again, when more Leaf news come out, I'll be able to get another episode out to you guys. So that's going to wrap it up for the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs edition right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network, your source for North American sports coverage by sports fans for sports fans, delivered to you right here in the beautiful Niagara region. You can follow the network on Twitter at Armchair GMs Pod. You can also follow this podcast at Armchair GM Leafs. All links for you guys to follow in the description of the video version of the podcast below on YouTube, or you can check out our website, armchairgmsports.com. Links are all located on there for you guys as well. Big thank you to all our great sponsors who help support our network and keep the shows on the air. Make sure you're checking out your local sponsors, and if you live in the Niagara area, they do wonders for us, and they'll do wonders for you. And finally, to you viewers out there, thank you so much for tuning in and listening along for this episode. Listen to me talk about the Leafs every single time. My name is Kyle. This has been another episode of the Niagara Hockey Lowdown Leafs edition, and right here on the Armchair GMs Sports Network. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.